Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to the Robert Greene 48 Laws of Power discussion series. Tonight, I am joined by the esteemed gentleman, Mr. Coolfrog, who is
Yeah,
currently dying.
these gentlemen.
The human gentleman, Mr. Coolfrog. Hey, Coolfrog,
What is up? What's going on? How's
welcome
it
to
going, everybody?
the 48 Laws series.
The 48 Laws series. What's up, Juju B?
What's up,
Vicky T?
Vicky?
Good to
What's
see you,
up,
dude.
Juju?
I'm excited to see who actually comes through this
Me too.
chat here today. I'm
Me too.
interested in how this is going to turn itself through. I do actually have the book in front of me now. I followed through the book the first couple of laws with Darth when he first started doing this. Went back and I read the last couple that I didn't actually join him on, and then all of a sudden I'm like, this should be a fun one. This should be a fun one. You get others to do the work for you,
But always
take
take the credit.
The thought on it just kind of like, hey, Valerie.
Hey, Val. Yeah, I get an interesting crowd with the 48 Laws series. You just never know who might or might not show up. I mean,
I just seriously, when I seen that law, I'm like, I think
yeah,
I said something to you a week ago. I said, so
you
Darth,
did.
law 7 says to get somebody else to do the job for you. I said, I think that we can pull this off, and I should join you. Now, I see Jujubee says, I put this stream together for Darth. I bet he'll say he did it, though.
I mean,
she didn't even talk to me. How could she have done such a thing?
Yeah, I was about to say, since one of my streams ever been put together? That's the funny part. But no, what's up, Cat Ninja?
Cat Ninja. What's up, my ninja? Mousy Files in the house. What's up?
Mousy's here. Mousy Cat. Yep, that's officially in my crew. Mousy Cat and Juju. The we got a knitting club.
You. Is that what you call it? That's your knitting club? Those three?
Yeah, the Outsiders knitting club. But yeah, I honestly, I was reading through the law because I like to read it the day of just to get it fresh in my mind so that I don't stumble over it when I try to read it out loud. Yeah. I was thinking a lot about, because the thing that sparked the original, like you coming on here, was a statement that I had made a while ago to you.
I mean,
in a definitely in a shot taking kind of manner. And I got some time to really just like sit and think about that objectively, where I wasn't like in a mood, because sometimes I'd be in a mood.
Yeah, no,
and it's like
that's normal for all human beings to be in a mood.
And I think it's kind of dope because while I'm not entirely wrong, you have been known to let other people do the work while you take the credit. At the same time, they're letting you do the work and taking a very fair share of the credit. Because I was thinking about it, like I have a channel I would not have if it was not for the three people that I always say, you, Divinity, and the Expert. Basically, like, you gotta come out and do this stuff for yourself. You gotta take your own lane and run with it.
Right, exactly.
And when I look at my audience,
I did that with several people.
Yeah, you did that with a lot of
people. You did that. I went ahead and said, "Hey, I think you should do something more than what you're doing. You should come join me. You should come hang out. I think you might have something in the future." There seems to be an awful lot of them. There's Divinity. What's up, Divinity?
Hi, Div.
Squab Bob's in the house.
Squabbles.
it, yeah, it's
Yeah.
something. It's something when you try bringing groups of people together and you try creating something bigger than yourself
Yep.
and making it about other people to have them uh, turn about and try
Well, every
rubbing it in your face.
yeah, I
Just
know. Uh, Well, I mean, there's one of the. It's called being half right, and sometimes when you're half right and you're selectively choosing what to be right about to be an asshole, I mean, I can be an asshole, and and
right.
I and I can say that, but at the end of the day, I look at my audience, the people who still come around. 90% of them, I probably wouldn't know if it wasn't for the fact that I picked them out of your audience in the first place.
Well, I mean,
So, I mean,
it's okay. It's okay because that's how we learn
yeah,
to get along with people and grow as
yeah.
groups and
Well,
friends and I I don't
hello,
give
gray
divinity
space.
enough praise. I should put divinity on a pedestal somewhere.
I mean, I think they've got enough clout, but I
No, I,
I will
I
give her. I mean, she's my
I
favorite
appreciate it.
rumbler.
She's been uh, part of the Frog Army longer than almost anybody.
Yeah, I think I heard a story at one point that at one point it was like her and like two other people hanging out in your chat, and then now you'll be getting
With Jimmy.
regular viewerships, which is awesome. I mean,
I get
everybody
some
looks.
decent viewership. It's too bad that YouTube have to be asshole.
I mean,
Uh,
YouTube is SO, but you still get decent viewer numbers on Rumble for considering that you're only half your
Last
subscribers made
night
it
I
over
did
there.
very well. I had some 40 plus viewers for the most of the night. I did pretty
Hmm.
good. I did pretty good.
I was one of
Um,
them for all night, so I think I fell asleep
you
right
were there before
about
I
the end.
was
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd like to hang out and chat and talk to people, so
with Div. With Div,
I
it,
mean,
it was very very well appreciative.
yeah.
And again, that was on Rumble, so you kind of have
Yep.
to go over there right now. YouTube's gonna see something come here in the near future. I just have to wait out. Probably, I think it's another month. I have to wait out. Let's do this. Let's do this thing.
Go
This
ahead and keep saying what you're saying. I'm just gonna get myself like positioned to
no,
start doing.
I'm ready to do
Uh,
this.
all right.
Let's
I
do
mean,
this.
I actually am happy that when I went through this, this is not like an extremely long one because I know you do a show at 10:30, and it's like, well, damn. Sometimes these go 2+ hours, but not. Like, I looked at them. I was like, I don't think I've seen one that went over 2 hours. But all right, let's get into it.
Yeah, I
Lost
mean, with the
seven.
two of us, we might take it too long if we
Yeah, it
get
might.
into.
But I mean, me and Div did
We
the
might
first
squirrel. We might
four.
squirrel it out. You never know.
We did the first four, and I mean, even the way we banter didn't really ever go over 2 hours. So,
Yeah, Div will shut that shit down though.
oh, that's true. That's true. Law seven: get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Judgment.
By the way, because I don't have a channel on YouTube right currently. I mean, I kind of do. It's been struck
Um,
twice, so I'm not using it.
uh,
I'm just a co-host, or not a co-host. I'm just a guest.
he's just a
Just a
guest on
guest
my channel. Dude,
on this
he came
channel.
here, came here to
Not a
discuss
co-host.
how to get others to do the work for you, but and take the credit. But if
She's trying to get me to
anyone
do this work for him, but
if anyone could do me a favor, any one of these fine wrenches I got here, if you could go grab the link to Frog's or Rumble channel and post it in the chat, I would be eternally grateful if I could get you to do that work for me. And I'll pin your
you
message
know who
in the
probably already
chat.
has it.
Div,
I bet somebody already has it.
Div.
Yeah, she's probably. I was watching you. I'm one of the three viewers waiting.
I mean, I have it, but I guess
Being
I
that
could
I
get it.
can't post it.
Yeah, you can't post it. I don't think you have a wrench, do you?
No,
I removed everybody from the wrenches
and then
except
come
for like
back
two
for it.
people, and then I slowly rebuilt.
But
Oh, but Jujubee got it. Jujubee on the ball. That is why that's my managing
thank you,
mod.
Jujubee. Thank you. Thank you.
You are the
Appreciate it.
goat. Bijou. Now, if someone else
You
could
go
say
there.
something to get this past this little stupid. There we go. Oh, better link.
This might be a better link.
Uh,
Yes, that is the better link. Yes, for sure.
okay, we're gonna go to that one then, or pin
Definitely
that
go
one.
there and
Subscribe
join.
to the frog. He does
Or
news and
it's
shit.
it's
He's
not
also
subscribe. It's follow.
yeah.
Hit the follow button.
Follow because it's Rumble.
I
He does
still
a lot.
do the
He does the
same
news and
news that
politics.
I've
If you
always
don't
done
know,
in the middle of the night.
yeah. I mean, it's not like anybody here doesn't know your
My shtick.
your shtick. Yeah, the shtick with Cool Frog on Rumble. Check it out if you don't know. I mean, I be I be in there.
Just dusting off the wrench. I got you, Juju. All right. Judgment. Use the
Judgment.
wisdom, knowledge, and legwork of other people to further your own cause. Not only will such assistance save you valuable time and energy, it will give you a godlike aura of efficiency and speed. In the end, your helpers will be forgotten and you will be remembered. Never do yourself what others can do for you.
Amen. But what does it mean? Obviously, I
What
mean,
does it mean?
I think the obvious answer is going to be articulated in the first story of this. It's
Heidi.
like literally getting other people to do the work for you, whether you hire them or whether you make deals with them and then swindle them out of their shit. You want me to read the first story?
It'll give you godlike aura. Well, that
Godlike aura.
that
I
godlike
mean,
aura that
yeah.
it says that it gives you, that's temporary, right?
I mean, in the
As long
moment, when you're doing the
it'll work
thing,
for a short bit. It'll work for a short bit. But the second that you decide to walk away from that help that was there, that
yep,
was giving you that godlike aura, eventually that godlike aura wears off.
it just
It wears
fades.
off, and then you get left with the same person that you were standing there with without them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
You fade
says
into
never do
obscurity.
yourself what others can do for you.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean,
I mean,
obviously, obviously, but
never do yourself what others can do
certain
for you.
things to make yourself better need to be done by yourself.
Oh, absolutely. And we're gonna cover all of that as
Okay,
well.
go ahead.
But transgression and observance of the law. In 1883, a young Serbian scientist named Nikola Tesla, oh, I've heard that name before, was working for the European division of the Continental Edison Company. He was a brilliant inventor, and Charles Batchelor, a plant manager and personal friend of Thomas Edison, persuaded him he should seek his fortune in America, giving him a letter of introduction to Edison himself. So began a life of woe and tribulation that lasted until Tesla's death. Now, you guys know I don't normally do reading of these inserts and these fables because a lot of times they're just not that relevant. But this one right here is the
Very,
tortoise,
very much so.
the
Very relevant.
elephant, and the hippopotamus. And I want to read this one
It's
because
so relevant. When I
this one's
was
really
looking
good.
through this book earlier, and I was
You want to
skimming
read
through
it,
it, kind
Frog?
of. No, nope. Hold on. Nope. I was skimming through it, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, of all things that I actually did read, was this particular insert, because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is so funny. This
Oh yeah.
definitely needs to be read. You
Yep.
can go until
I,
you can't.
I'll get it. One day the tortoise met the elephant, who trumpeted, "Out of my way, you weakling! I might step on you." The tortoise was not afraid and stayed where he was. So the elephant stepped on him, but could not crush him. "Do not boast, Mr. Elephant. I am as strong as you are," said the tortoise. But the elephant just laughed. So the tortoise asked him to come to his hill the next morning. The next day, before sunrise, the tortoise ran down the hill to the river, where he met the hippopotamus, who was just on his way back into the water after his nocturnal feeding. Mr. Hippo, shall we have a tug of war? I bet I'm as strong as you are, said the tortoise. The hippopotamus laughed at this ridiculous idea, but agreed. The tortoise produced a long rope and told the hippo to hold it in his mouth until the tortoise shouted, "Hey!" Then the tortoise ran back up the hill where he found the elephant, who was getting impatient. He gave the elephant the other end of the rope and said, "When I say hey, pull, and you'll see which of us is the strongest." Then he ran halfway back down the hill to a place where he couldn't be seen and shouted, "Hey!" The elephant and the hippopotamus pulled and pulled, but neither could budge the other. They were of equal strength. They both agreed that the tortoise was as strong as they were. Never do what others can do for you. The tortoise let the others do the work for him while he got the credit. And that's a Zairian fable. I'm not from
Sure.
Zaire,
Zarian
so
Fable.
yeah,
Sounds about
Zairian
right.
fable. And I, as I was mentioning earlier, oh shit, I missed this one because I'm not paying attention to the chat. I'm trying to read and shit. Cheers.
Where did the tortoise get the rope? Says
Where do you learn to
GGB.
talk? I mean, you're asking a lot of the irrelevant questions, like where he got that rope. I mean, if you really want to ask a question about where somebody got something, you ask where them zombies in Game of Thrones got that big ass chain to fish that dragon out of the water. You answer me that, and I'll tell you where that tortoise got that rope. Anywho, I propose myself that the tortoise is stronger than both the elephant and the hippo because he managed to outwit the elephant by
I
gaming the
mean, he
hippo.
kind of took himself out of the game, didn't he?
Yeah, the hippo was not even involved in this at all in the original confrontation. But he meant like he's looking at that tortoise the same way the elephant's looking at him like, damn little turtle, I'm not messing with you. So I like
Right.
in
He
my
kind of outsmarted
supposition,
him. He's like, all
yeah,
right, so
he uses intelligence.
this big ginormous blob of whatever on this side
Yep.
is picking on me. Well, this ginormous blob of shit on the other side's also something that I don't really want to fuck with. But if I can get them to fuck with each other, they're gonna leave me alone. Go
Oh
ahead,
yeah.
fuck with each other. Have fun.
Yep. And now I am just as strong as either of you. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Don't give me back my
Still
rope.
here.
No, I don't need that rope back. I just thought I like, yeah, that's
I don't
hilarious.
think either one of us can actually answer the question of where the tortoise got the rope from, though.
No, it's not even relevant. What he did with it was the relevant part where he got the rope. I mean, he's a tortoise and he can talk, so it's interesting. Back to Tesla though, because man, you know the story of Tesla, right? I think a lot of people do. So, but man, the highlights of it in this particular observance of the law or transgression of the law. When Tesla met Edison in New York, the famous inventor hired him on the spot. Tesla worked 18-hour days, finding ways to improve the primitive Edison dynamos. Talk about doing the work for someone else. Finally, he offered to redesign them completely. What? Now to Edison, this seemed like a monumental task that could last years without paying off. But he told Tesla, "There's $50,000 in it for you if you can do it." Tesla labored day and night on the project, and after only a year, he produced a greatly improved version of the dynamo. complete with automatic controls. He went to Edison to break the good news and receive his 50,000. Edison was pleased with the improvement, for which he and his company would take credit. But when it came to the issue of the money, he told the young Serb, "Tesla, you don't understand our American humor," and offered a small raise instead. Talk about ripping that man off.
I mean, so when you think about what Tesla did,
Yeah.
the work that he put in for a whole year to get to 50,000, back
Yep.
then, that
Was
was a
a
lot of
it's still
money.
a shitload of money, but
That was a lot of money. He he
ah,
he pulled out well. Now 50,000 nowadays, and you work for a full year. I mean, you're
yeah.
working like a regular, almost. I mean, all better than a full time job. I mean, I suppose
But but I mean,
you
he
think
was
about
already getting
50,000,
paid. He
but
was already getting paid to work anyway. Like he instead of giving him the 50,000 that he like promised or agreed to give him. I mean, it's because he didn't promise him it, but he promised him it. Like if you gave me your word that like
right, do the
if I
work,
could do this,
do the
I
work,
did
prove it,
it.
prove
Yep.
that you can make my whatever I'd done
So he
better.
was already
Uh-huh.
getting paid to do it, but I mean, he had been given a heavy incentive, and yeah, he basically got screwed out of it. Which this is only
Well,
like
right,
the beginning of
that's not
how
the first thing
Edison
that
screwed.
Edison's ever stole from somebody else or
Oh
used
no,
from somebody else to create something
and
better.
this isn't even the first time that Edison personally screwed Tesla either. But oh man, that's how it starts. Like that's how it starts, and it just gets worse. And it's like, man, Edison had that shit figured out. Tesla's obsession was to create an alternating current system of electricity. Edison believed in the direct current system and not only refused to support Tesla's research, but later did all he could to sabotage him. Tesla turned to the great Pittsburgh magnate George Westinghouse, who had started his own electricity company. Westinghouse,
Which we when real quick
yeah,
when we think about Westinghouse, Westinghouse it did have his own electricity
yep,
company. They did have their own line of goods and products and things that because you had multiple different conglomerates that were bought out together.
oh yeah,
And and Westinghouse is still a name that you hear of today when you hear about White Westinghouse as being a product manufacturer for electronic goods.
high
It's
man doors, man bun.
there's still a thing.
Oh yeah, but they were eventually acquired,
Hey
so.
Nandor.
uh, there's a joke here that I'm not privy to. Westinghouse completely funded Tesla's research and offered him a generous royalty agreement on future profits. The AC system Tesla developed is still the standard today. But after patents were filed in his name, other scientists came forward to take credit for the invention, claiming that they had laid the groundwork for him. His name was lost in the shuffle, and the public came to associate the invention with Westinghouse himself. Tesla got screwed again.
Hmm.
A year later, Westinghouse was caught in a takeover bid from, what is that name? J. Piermont Morgan. JP Morgan strikes again.
Hmm.
As we know they
Pure
do.
Paul.
Fucking bankers. Who
I know,
made him
Nandor. It's
rescind,
rough, but I got you.
who made him rescind the generous royalty contract he had signed with Tesla. Westinghouse explained to the scientist that his company would not survive if it had to pay him his full royalties. He persuaded Tesla to accept a buyout of his patents for $216,000, a large sum, no doubt, but far less than the 12 million they were worth at the time. The financiers divested Tesla of the riches, the patents, and essentially the credit for the greatest invention of his career. So Tesla really like he didn't figure it out, did he? At any point, he just keep doing the work for everybody. And this is
He just he really did enjoy doing what he was doing, and that's probably
I
what it was. And yet
yeah
he didn't get the immediate credit for a lot of things that he did. As you can see, as the story
oh
progresses or
yeah
whatever, as we're speaking of him,
just keeps
he
going.
does eventually get the credit where credit's due, as they realize who did do all the work and who was just
Yeah,
getting paid for doing nothing.
right. But he's definitely breaking the seventh law of power. Like he is transgressing all over this shit because he is doing the absolute opposite of what the law
Right.
would prescribe. The
Right.
name of Guglielmo Marconi is forever linked with the invention of radio, but few know that in producing his invention, he broadcast a signal across the English Channel in 1899. Marconi made use of a patent Tesla had filed in 1897, and that his work depended on Tesla's research. Once again, Tesla received no money and no credit. Tesla invented an induction motor as well as the AC power system, and he is the real father of radio. Yet none of these discoveries bear his name. As an old man, he lived in poverty. That's because he got fucked over like four. Like every time he turned around, he was getting fucked over. In 1917, during his later impoverished years, Tesla was told he was to receive the Edison Medal of the American Institute of Electrical Engineers. He turned the medal down. You propose, he said, to honor me with a medal which I could pin upon my coat and strut for a vain hour before the members of your institute. You would decorate my body and continue to let starve for failure to supply recognition my mind and its creative products, which have supplied the foundation upon which the major portion of your institute exists.
Well, if we give you the medal, you'll
Yeah,
be okay. You just take the medal,
you
dance
got
around for us, monkey. Continue to dance for us, monkey. You didn't do enough. You need to do more. And
Charlemagne. What's up? Yeah, I'd have told him to
Shiloh,
get
what's
fucked too.
up, King?
Give me my $12 million. How about that? Give me royalties on all the shit you stole from me, you bastards.
Be like, none of y'all would exist without me.
It's
Go
true.
fuck
It's true.
yourselves.
Like I mean, almost everything they had, he either was instrumental in laying the foundation for, or completely responsible for. And it's like, shit.
They said we'll get bent right after we use all your work, says Jujubee.
Yeah. And essentially, they were like, well, what are we going to do? Yeah. Tesla did get bent over. Like, I mean, but Frog was right when he made the comment about Tesla because we're going to get to this in the interpretation. Interpretation. Many harbor the illusion that science, dealing with facts as it does, is beyond the petty rivalries that trouble the rest of the world. Nikola Tesla was one of those. He believed science had
He
nothing to
lied.
do. He believed,
I believed he
believed,
believed.
he believed science had nothing to do with politics and claimed not to care for fame and riches. As he grew older, though, this ruined his scientific work. Not associated with any particular discovery, he could attract no investors to his many ideas. While he pondered great inventions for the future, Others stole the patents he had already developed and got the glory for themselves. He wanted to do everything on his own, but merely exhausted and impoverished himself in the process. Edison was Tesla's polar opposite. He wasn't actually much of a scientific thinker or inventor. He once said that he had no need to be a mathematician because he could always hire one. That was Edison's main method. He was really a businessman and a publicist, spotting the trends and the opportunities that were out there, then hiring the best in the field to do the work for him. If he had to, he would steal from his competitors. Yet his name is much better known than Tesla's and is associated with more inventions. I got another one of these fun little inserts here. This one actually,
You got
I don't
no
know.
thoughts to go along with that last part that you just read? You're just gonna skip right
Well,
over?
it's not done. They just put this insert right in the middle of
okay. So
the,
okay,
like we're
okay,
still doing the interpretation.
okay. No, I
I
got you.
mean, but I mean, like this is clearly a dynamic between these two where one is observing law 7 very, very clear. Like that's what Edison's power was the law 7 getting everyone else to do all the work for him while he took all the credit for it. And
Landor
yeah, he was.
says, "Can I say fucked? Because that's what Edison can get." Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean they both did.
Yeah, you can say fucked all you want.
Yeah, by all means, like you oughta know where the fuck you're at. If not, you're gonna learn today. Yeah, I mean one is transgressing the law, the other one is observing the law, so they're actually opposite ends of the poles on this one. Let's read the rest of the interpretation. There's more to say here. The lesson is twofold. First, the credit for an invention or creation is as important, if not more important, than the invention itself. You must secure the credit for yourself
No,
and
stop,
keep,
stop, stop,
well,
stop. Okay, wait a minute.
I
Go
mean,
back, go back, because this isn't continued. The
this is the
lesson is twofold.
continuation
Just
of the
go away.
interpretation here. Yeah, because we're talking about the polar opposite. Like, that's why the lesson
Secure
in
for
this law is
inventions.
twofold in this story,
Okay,
because,
continue. Sorry.
yeah, I was about to say, like, we're looking at Edison opposed specifically to Tesla, and uh, you must secure the credit for yourself and keep others from
Landers
stealing it
Manbun says,
away.
I showed up late. What is Law 7?
Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. That
So,
is Law
so
7.
if you came in here off of the thumbnail
Yeah.
thinking it was going to be just Darth because he took the credit as he
Yeah, I
didn't
took all the
give credit.
credit.
He took all the credit. He didn't
I
put me
did.
on the thumbnail. He
Didn't put him in the
did the
thumbnail.
job
Didn't put him in the
correct.
description.
He did the
Wouldn't
job correctly.
didn't put him in the tagline in the title line.
Right.
Nope.
So
And,
he did his side correctly. So now I'm doing my side correctly. Okay,
ah.
continue.
You must secure the credit for yourself and keep others from stealing it away or from piggybacking on your hard work. To accomplish this, you must always be vigilant and ruthless, keeping your creation quiet until you can be sure there are no vultures circling overhead. Second, learn to take advantage of other people's work to further your own cause. Time is precious and life is short, and you do only have so much time.
You really do.
If you try to
If
do
you
it
think you're
all
going to be
on
here forever, you're wrong.
no, yeah. If you try to do it all on your own, you run yourself ragged, waste energy, and burn yourself out.
Right.
It is far better to conserve your forces, pounce on the work others have done, and find a way to make it your own. There's a really dope quote underneath this. I don't know if I can get it to, because it says who it is. Everyone steals in. Ah, damn it. Oh, damn, I lost the whole damn thing. Fuck out of here. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll normal. Everybody steals in commerce and
Find
industry.
yourself a Tesla. Find
I've
yourself.
stolen a
Find
lot
somebody.
myself, but I know how to steal. Thomas Edison. Those are his own words. Like, everybody steals. I've stolen a lot, but I
Right. You
know how
just
to
have to know
steal.
how to do it
You
and get
know,
away with it.
you know who he sounds like when I read
Shake
that?
and bake.
I read this quote, and all I can hear is everybody steals in commerce and industry. I've stolen a lot myself, but I know how to steal. And I'll steal for you, the American people. I'll steal from China. I'll steal from Russia. I'll steal everybody's shit. And I'll bring it all home to America. I got it all for me. Yeah, he sounds like Donald Trump. Like that's whose voice I hear in my head. Because I've never heard Thomas Edison's voice, obviously. He died almost 100 fucking years
He
ago.
died very long time ago.
Yes, he died. You do a better Trump than I ever could, by the way. Like,
Go. So okay. So okay, we are on this one. So the lesson is twofold. First, the credit is for invention or creation is as important, if not more important, the invention itself.
oh yeah, I totally agree. Like, I mean, when you think of Tesla in the modern context of the electric car, what do you think of? Elon fucking Musk. Did Elon invent, like,
Trash.
did Elon design the Tesla? Fuck no. I guarantee you he had a whole damn, like, squad of engineers put this shit together for him. But who's getting all the credit for the modern day Tesla? It's Elon Musk. If you think of Microsoft and Windows, the very, very, very first iterant of Windows, which was not even Windows, it was the dynamic operating system, DOS,
Us, yes.
developed by Bill Gates, and I think there were two or three other people involved on that team. Now,
I'm sure there's other names that were on that
yeah,
initial invention.
right,
But if
but
you
Bill
look at it
Gates
now,
got
it just has one.
yeah, Bill Gates got every bit of the credit of all of that. And even now that Microsoft is like a multi-billion dollar corporation with thousands and thousands of employees developing all their different shit, Bill Gates still get the credit for like being the man behind Microsoft and Windows. All the credit. Like, you don't know the names of them developers that will never be named. You only know that Bill Gates is like the biggest owner of private farmland in the United States,
Yeah.
which is a weird segue away from being the like leader of the tech industry for so long. Like, why couldn't you just do what you was doing?
Um,
But these are people who have managed to get other people to do all the work and take all the credit, and that is why the
in
credit for
actuality,
the invention.
that's amazing. It's amazing
Mhm.
that you because I'm like I know this isn't right. I know it's not Bill Gates that's really seriously the inventor because he's the inventor of Microsoft. He would have used DOS to create Microsoft.
Yeah,
So he wasn't the inventor of DOS. It was Tim Patterson. Tim Patterson was the inventor of DOS back in 1981. It's just that everybody else, when you go look it up, whether you look up Bill Gates, Paul Allen's, Steve
uh,
Ballmer, or anybody else to go along
yeah,
with that, and any other operating system, whether it even be Mark Zuckerberg, you look back and you're going to
the
see that they all used DOS to begin with,
yeah,
and they were running it off of Tim Patterson's Microsoft or MS DOS is what they called it. So
yeah,
only
I know.
later on did Bill Gates get credit for any of that. So
Right,
don't let him lie to you.
but he did still, still in my head, like MS-DOS, which is just the command prompt version of DOS built into the back end of Windows. Yeah, that's a MS product, but it's yeah, you're right. Like, he didn't invent DOS, but in my head he did because I used MS DOS for a
He
long
used
time
it to
in conjunction with Windows.
invent Windows. Is pretty
Mhm.
much what it comes down to.
He put
Just
a graphic user interface on the
Uh-huh.
dynamic operating system. That is all he really did.
But there's so many others that also used it to create other interfaces,
I
and like Linux,
I
Unix.
do not support or neither do I condemn these business practices. I acknowledge them for what they are. Does it make it right? Well, it depends on who you ask. In the case of Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison, does it make it right for Nikola Tesla? I would say he'd probably think not. But if you were to ask Thomas Edison his opinion, he would probably tell you everybody steals in commerce and industry. He's stolen a lot, but he knows how to steal. So yeah, it worked out really well for him. And I mean, good and evil are all subjective to like right and wrong aren't objective truths in my personal opinion on these things. Like especially when you're dealing with like I have power and you do not. In the fundamentals of
The second one that they have on there
yep
now
yeah
is the hard one. Is to learn to take advantage of other people's work
yeah
to further your own cause, because
oh yeah
sometimes you actually have I don't know if you want to just call it empathy or having a heart,
compassion. It's called compassion. Yeah,
feeling towards somebody else, saying, well, I don't want to take uh,
I mean
your
in
stuff
most
from you. I
cases
want you to
in
be
most
you.
cases you don't find the type of extreme like outright theft you find with Edison. You'll find people that are like collaborating like okay, I need this work from you to contribute to the thing I'm trying to do. I'll offer you X amount of compensation for it, and everybody agrees. Nobody feels ripped off. Like maybe you don't get the credit, but you got the compensation you agreed to, so you have nothing to bitch about. If not, you should have negotiated better for yourself on the deal. But in most enterprise, in most business, that's how it goes down. Like Edison was a particularly shisty son of a bitch, but I mean, is employing somebody exploitative just in general? I would say no. But like employing these kind of tactics where you're literally ripping a man off and stealing his patents and shit, okay, that's fucked up. You shouldn't do that. But patent
Okay.
law back in the early 1900s also was not the kind of ironclad thing. It was a lot easier to steal patents back in the day than it is in
I
modern
mean,
times
right.
because we
I
have
mean,
laws against this type of shit now.
and this is why we have laws against this type of shit, is because of that's
Because
exactly.
of shit. Yeah, because of shit like this. We have laws against shit like this. Absolutely.
Though we still recognize Edison for the things that he's done. It's been known that like um it's been known that people do
Oh
this
yeah.
for a long time, and
Oh yeah.
it's been retaught that certain people had other it's just thinking about like the light bulb or whatever. There's a guy that originally invented the filament. Wasn't that's what the guy didn't invent the light bulb? He invented the filament. And it was some black man, and they're
Yeah,
like, "Oh, he never gets credit for it." And it's like, "Oh, he does
it's
get
true.
credit for it now. He
Yeah,
does
he
get credit
does.
for now for just for doing the
And
filament, not the light bulb, the filament."
but I mean that made the light bulb actually possible, like to for long-term viability because
Right.
the light bulb worked, but he made it actually like viable to do a thing. What was that guy's name? Let's give him
I
a
don't
shout
even
out.
know. uh, um, I don't even know.
Lewis Latimer. He made the filament more durable using carbon in it. And yeah, never really hear the name Lewis Latimer because he didn't actually invent the filament. He just made like he modified the filament to make it long term viable, like for
Right.
lots and lots of hours. So shout out to the carbon infused filament. It's Lewis Latimer, whose idea was also stolen by Thomas Edison.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, he stole from
doesn't
a lot of
really
people.
ever make it right, but at the same
No,
time, it does make
it
it.
does happen. These,
It doesn't make it that they didn't use it to further their own
oh yeah,
careers and make
yeah.
their lives better. They're like,
And
hey,
I mean,
you didn't
argue that
you come across we come across each other. We speak to each other one day, and you say, hey, I have an idea about doing this certain thing, and like I have. I've had ideas about certain things, doing
oh, yeah.
certain things, and shared those ideas with people that I was thinking of doing certain things, and then all of a sudden, a week or two later, that
You
idea is
do
being
your idea
implemented
on their shit.
on their own stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, yep,
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I love it,
yeah.
and I'm glad that they're doing such a thing.
I mean, I
But
will
it was
say,
it necessary to take somebody else's idea to do it for yourself?
I mean, I only
If you can't
stole
come up with your
one
own
of
original ideas, what the
I
fuck are you doing?
I only stole one of your ideas, and I didn't steal that idea until you had abandoned doing it because you changed the
I
format.
never abandoned anything.
You took the early show and you
It
made
was
it the
still mine.
waking. You made
And
it the
that's what
waking
and
up
that's
show.
I still say that was the same show that was being snowballed into everything else.
Right, but I put up the replacement show in that time slot because, well, it was a good idea and it was a good
Learned
time slot to be doing a stream nobody else was on. So if
well,
you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna pick up where you left
that's
off.
just
I should have asked permission, but fuck it, I'm gonna do a stream anyway. And yeah, I basically stole the whole format of the show and everything. Like it happens. Shall we continue? Because I really am very, very keen on the keys to power section of this particular law because this one is very, just very fundamental. And I mean, if you want to do this one, like if you want to read the keys to power,
let's
this
go.
one,
Do you want me to read this? Is that what you just said?
I said if you want to.
The world of power has the dynamics of the jungle. There are those who live in the hunting and killing, and those who are vast numbers of creatures, hyenas, vultures, who live off the hunting of others. These latter, less imaginative types are often incapable of doing the work that is essential for the creation of power. They understand early on, though, that if they wait long enough, they can always find another animal to do the work for them. Do not be naive. At this very moment, while you are slaving away on some project, there are vultures circling above trying to figure out a way to survive and even thrive off your creativity. It is useless to complain about this or to wear yourself ragged with bitterness, as Tesla did. Better to protect yourself and join the game. Once you have established a power base, become a vulture yourself and save yourself a lot of time and energy.
See, now this one right here made me specifically think of our little community of YouTubers, and not just our little community of YouTubers, but the community that has come and gone and been around. And like when I heard vulture, the first like as I was reading this earlier, I was like, culture vultures do this. People who make a YouTube channel and then rather than just grow a subscriber base by putting out the like putting out the content and letting the subscribers come to them, they do the culture vulture clout goblin dance and then they go running to whatever bigger creator broader audience they can find, and they run the grift of the self promo on their channel to grow their base significantly faster than they otherwise could on their own. And at the same time, like, maybe even drop off a sub or two, but usually, like, when, for instance, if someone like me is gonna come on with someone like you only have to gain what I bring in content, like, because I don't have subscribers for you to grift off of me. You
Right.
already have all my subscribers. I got them from you because I had everything to gain by coming on with you and like promoting this is me, this is what I'm doing, and like if you like it, come check it out over here at my shit. And like I watched a lot of people in our community who blew up in subs. It's like how you get so big so fast. It's like, oh, I see you be everywhere. You out there doing the promotion, and I can't hate. I'm not doing it really because that's not really my vibe. Like, if I'm gonna go on with someone, it's not gonna be to promote myself specifically. Like, I might promote myself if I'm on with you, but if I'm on with you, I'm gonna be there because like we got a reason. Like, there's something I want to talk to you about, something interesting, or there's something you think I'd be beneficial to having a discussion for. Like, I'm not going on just to like do the grift gang. And sometimes I might just come on to shoot the shit, which I mean, if you my homie, like, and it's a Friday night, it is what it is. We gonna do it. But yeah, like I don't go around
Scroll.
chasing a bunch of attention because I do not.
But
I fail at the law of courting attention at all costs when it comes to like expanding my YouTube presence. But like when I'm sitting in a
I
chat or
mean,
something, like,
but I mean, don't get yourself wrong though, because I mean, I've caught myself at a couple times where of doing things, wanting to do things, and setting things up, getting things ready, and then all of a sudden, being naive enough to even just say, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking of doing,"
right.
to watch it just us and just be like snagged up from underneath you, like it's nothing. It's even those closest to you that you're just like think you're the coolest people ever that are going to understand what you're going through, why you're deciding to do it. Yeah, modern day clout chasers for sure.
I agree.
Hmm. A
And I
hen
have been
who
guilty
had
of such a
lost
thing.
her sight and was accustomed to scratching up the earth on search of food, although blind, still continued to scratch away most diligently. Of what use was it to the industrious fool? Another sharp sighted hen who spared her tender feet, never moved from her side, and enjoyed without scratching the fruit of the other's labor. For as often as the blind hen scratched up the barley corn, her watchful companion devoured it. Didn't know that
And
she was scratching it up because she couldn't see it.
yeah, just
She couldn't see
scratching
it.
away
You could see
anyway.
what was there,
Can't see what I'm doing.
what was being rustled up as you're working away trying to get something to go, and all of a sudden somebody else decides to mooch off of it,
Oh, I
pay
mean,
their way through it or something, and make their ways to something what they feel is better,
Mimsy.
to just watch you continue to toil away and not give a fuck. What's up, Mimsy? Good to see you, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, you can see cases like that all in all types of different animals, and this is a story that we're reading, and it's can't remember. Oh yeah, it's a Gotthold Lessing fable, but like you could actually see animals doing this. Like, oh, this motherfucker can't even see the food it's digging up. It just digs up food because it doesn't know any better, and I'm just gonna eat it because well I can see it. I'm gonna devour it. Save myself the trouble. Yeah, that. I mean,
Scroll.
Of the two poles of this game, one can be illustrated by the example of the explorer Vasco Nunez de Balboa. Balboa had an obsession, the discovery of El Dorado, a legendary city of vast riches. Early in the 16th century, after
I
countless
mean,
hardships, I mean,
what,
the city of
huh?
gold. He
His
wanted to find the
discovery
city of
of,
gold.
of a legendary city
Yep.
of vast riches. This stuff
Yes.
just so happened just be sitting there. He discovered it.
I
Nobody
mean,
else
that's
was
the
there
legend.
beforehand. They didn't leave it there. It just so happened to be there.
Oh, he had never discovered it. He wanted to discover it. He was obsessed with discovering the city of gold, which is the legend of El Dorado, the
Oh,
legendary city. Like it had been a story that had been passed around, but nobody had found it at this point. He was obsessed with finding it. And early in the
okay.
16th century, after countless hardships and brushes with death, he found evidence of a great and wealthy empire to the south of Mexico in present-day Peru. By conquering this empire, the Incan, and seizing its gold, he would make himself the next Cortez. The problem was that even as he made this discovery, word of it spread among hundreds of other conquistadors. He did not understand that half of the game was keeping it quiet and carefully watching those around him. A few years after he discovered the location of the Incan Empire, so now he knows where it is, a soldier in his own army, Francisco Pizarro, helped to get him beheaded for treason. Pizarro went on to take what Balboa had spent so many years trying to find. Yeah,
This
you
that
couldn't keep.
simple, that easy. You
Yeah,
could be working your butt off
mhm,
for your whole life,
and you couldn't keep your mouth
and
shut.
you couldn't keep your mouth shut either. And as you were getting to the finish line of being where you wanted to be, the one that you thought you could trust the most,
One
went
of your own
ahead and cut
people.
off your head and took what was yours and
Yep,
went ahead and ran with it and made it their own because they're like, ah, fuck it. I don't care about somebody else.
did
I only care
all
about
that,
myself.
did all
Selfish
that work,
bastard.
lifelong obsession, and then just because he couldn't, like, I mean, that's a lot. You're describing this to people, and you're not gonna inspire a whole bunch of greed. Greed's one of the seven deadly sins, y'all. I learned that watching Divinity said stream from Tuesday. She did a seven deadly sins stream with the Nova on her Rumble channel. Check that out if you're interested in the seven deadly sins.
That's Divinity 143 on Rumble.
Yes, that is Divinity 143 on Rumble. This Divinity right here. But yeah, you're gonna inspire a shitload of greed, and yeah, the people closest to you betray you and take what. I mean, yeah, that's why they say that a secret is best kept between two men, provided one of them is dead.
I mean, I've I've learned I've learned from the several people that I've attempted to work with to try making something bigger and better that sometimes you just got to keep yourself
Yep.
close knit and just be to a handful of people. um
Yeah.
it, no there's a difference between the people you work with and the people that are in your audience.
Yep. And the people that you work with, and then the people that you call friends, because you got to understand who you're talking to when you're talking to somebody. Somebody might
Sometimes
appear very amiable to you, but they might just be looking for that opportunity to snatch out from under you everything you've got. The other pole is that of the artist Peter Paul Rubens, who, late in his career, found himself deluged with requests for paintings. He created a system. In his large studio, he employed dozens of outstanding painters, one specializing in robes, another in backgrounds, and so on. He created a vast production line in which a large number of canvases would be worked on at the same time. When an important client visited the studio, Rubens would shoo his hired painters out for the day. While the client watched from a balcony, Rubens would work at an incredible pace with unbelievable energy. The client would leave in awe of this prodigious man who could paint so many masterpieces in so short a time. Yeah, he had y'all fooled, didn't he?
Hmm.
Like I'm gonna get
Peter
them to like,
Paul Rubens,
yeah, it's like Dave
you
Rubin.
sly dog.
He's a slide dog. Get them to get all these canvases set up, and then like when you got a big client coming in, everybody out, and then like I got all these canvases here. I'm just gonna paint on each and every one, like just run back and forth between them, make it look like I'm doing this all myself. When in reality, I ain't doing shit unless you're watching. And then once you leave, I'm out in the paint the paint assembly line, painting assembly line is coming back in, and I'm signing all of these bastards with my name. Granted, he has to be compensating all these outstanding painters because he did employ them, but
I mean,
ah,
it really have to know for sure that you're going to be worth the time and
I mean,
selling
he was,
this
yeah,
product that you're selling.
he was getting like requests though, you know what I'm saying? Like, so of course, like he's got the demand's already there. He just has to figure out how to make the supply because he clearly wasn't able to make the supply on his own based on what the first section of that story said there, but he figured it out, created a
Maybe.
fucking assembly
I
line.
bet if we looked up the difference between Peter Paul Rubens, who you don't really hear much about, and somebody
I've
like
I've honestly never heard of that
like
guy.
like a Picasso or something or whatever,
Right. But I mean,
and you put that up for how much it's worth. I bet this guy's stuff isn't worth
I
nearly.
bet you it's not because Picasso's are legendary works. Every one of them is one of a kind, and there are only
I bet
so
if we
many
looked
of
up
them in
Peter
the
Paul
world.
Rubens, we might actually know one of these works that he just so happened to have worked on.
Probably would. You want to do that? Like, I've never.
Okay, hold on here. Let's see here. Peter Paul Rubens, Flemish artist and diplomat.
If anything looks familiar in there, go ahead and present it, and we can take a look at some of this guy's
If we
work that he mass
can.
produced. That he mass produced.
Well, I
We're
mean,
gonna find out if this dude's actually worth having requests for paintings done. I mean, a lot of people, like, if you're even remotely known, like the reason that all these other artists work because they're so rare and because they're dead. But if you have an artist that's alive and they're relative, like even if they're remotely talented, and you can get them like a commissioned work from them while they're alive, specifically for you. I mean, I could see why people would have demand for that. It's obviously going to be cheaper than like a one of a kind Rembrandt.
okay,
And
this guy was a little. He was a little eccentric for sure.
yeah,
Huh.
most artists are, my friend. Like,
No, I know, but okay, let's see if he can't. The Judgment of Paris. He's got an awful lot of nude photos.
oh
Or they're
boy,
not photos, they're paintings. Nude paintings.
paintings.
So lots of bare asses and justicles and
Yeah, we're not we're not doing that on YouTube, are we?
No, and that's why I'm not
Yeah.
even going to attempt.
I'm glad you went and looked at that first because my dumb ass probably would have looked at that and been like, "This is all right. There's nothing wrong with this," and then I'm gonna get a strike for nudity, and it's like,
Yeah, no,
"Oh,
we're not
oh,
going to
you
show all
guys are."
these chesticles. Now, there's plenty of them where they didn't show chesticles and butts and stuff. There's other things.
Is
But
there
kind
anything
of
in there
a
that you recognize at all? Like anything that looks
nothing
familiar?
that was just like, oh my god, that's him.
I know that painting, right? Like, so he's like Bob Ross, basically.
No, Bob
Like,
Ross's stuff was kind of. I mean, you could kind of see it.
I mean, almost all of Bob Ross's paintings were the exact same style. Like, they were 20,000 very slightly different variations of almost the same painting
With a happy little
with
tree.
a happy little tree and a happy little accident. And I mean, you can tell a Bob Ross when you see it, but like
I think
all
the
the Bob,
Judgment of Paris must be the most popular one.
yeah,
Judgment of Paris,
this
1639.
is this is probably the one that got him
And
started
yes,
before he started the
it shows
assembly line.
chesticles. So
Oh boy.
this has to be the most popular one that he has. Looks like
Well,
50, but you can choose a size. Somebody will do a reproduction for you of it for about $1,500 at 50% off
oh boy. So 2 grand to get you a
for
repro.
149
Repro.
by 78 inch.
That's pretty decent size.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's 4 foot
it's
by 5 foot,
for
roughly.
$1,500.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty decent sized canvas. I probably wouldn't order one, but might be
You
some
get two
people out
pair
there
of
that have.
chesticles.
I, I already got one pair of chesticles. I don't need a painting for it.
But they're actual female chesticles.
Oh, chesticles. My bad. Not chesticles. Chesticles. Cheaties.
Yes, chesticles.
Yes, chesticles. I hear tadpole. Sup, tiny tadpole.
Easy peasy, lemon peasy. That's cereal red. That's a cereal red, Dad.
Yep, you're silly. All right.
Since we're not going to be getting into Mr. Rubin's artwork, shall we continue? I don't think there's much left of this law.
Yeah,
To be
let's
honest.
continue.
This is the essence of the law. Learn to get others to do the work for you while you take the credit, and you appear to be of godlike strength and power. If you think it important to do all the work yourself, you will never get far, and you will suffer the fate of the Balboas and the Teslas of the world. Find people with the skills and creativity you lack. Either hire them while putting your own name on top of theirs, or find a way to take their work and make it your own. Their creativity thus becomes yours, and you seem a genius to the world. There is another application of this law that does not require the parasitic use of your contemporary's labor. This is for you, Nandor, because I agree with you that it's not fair. But there is a way to apply this law that doesn't involve being a parasite. Here is how you do that. Use the past, a vast storehouse of knowledge and wisdom. Sir Isaac Newton called this standing on the shoulders of giants. He meant that in making his discoveries, he had built on the achievements of others. A great part of his aura of genius, he knew, was attributable to his shrewd ability to make the most of the insights of ancient, medieval, and Renaissance scientists. Shakespeare borrowed plots, characterizations, and even dialogue from Plutarch, among other writers, for he knew that nobody surpassed Plutarch in the writing of subtle psychology and witty quotes. How many later writers have in their turn borrowed from, plagiarized Shakespeare? We all know how few of today's politicians write their own speeches. I know of one. I know of one because nobody could write speeches for this man. Their own words would not win them a single vote. Their eloquence and wit, whatever there is of it,
And then
they
again, while we
go to
talk
a
about plagiarism as
speechwriter.
it be,
Yeah,
you look at the person that's currently
sitting
the
on top of
president of the United
politics.
States, and you think about his old runs, the first couple attempts to run for presidency,
Yeah,
and him being ousted for plagiarism.
I'm almost certain that when Robert Greene wrote this book, he was thinking specifically about Joe Biden when he wrote this section. He didn't call him out by name, but like that's what I was thinking too. I was like, yeah, Joe Biden needs a speechwriter and a speech giver. Get one of those clones to actually be able to deliver one of these speeches nicely. Other people do the work, they take the credit. The upside of this is that it is a kind of power that is available to everyone. Learn to use the knowledge of the past, and you will look like a genius, even when you are really just a clever borrower. Writers who have delved into human nature, ancient masters of strategy. I mean, I do love the human nature writers. I love the ancient masters of strategy like Sun Tzu, historians of human stupidity and folly. I mean, kings and queens who have learned the hard way how to handle the burdens of power, like your Alexander the Greats and your Marcus Aurelius's. Their knowledge is gathering dust, waiting for you to come and stand on their shoulders. Their wit can be your wit. Their skill can be your skill, and they will never come around to tell people how unoriginal you really are because they're dead. They've been dead for a long time. But you can steal all their shit that they left behind because they ain't going to come around to snitch on you about it. You can slog through life making endless mistakes, wasting time and energy trying to do things from your own experience, or you can use the armies of the past. As Bismarck once said, fools say that they learn by experience. I prefer to profit by others' experience. Image, the vulture. Of all the creatures in the jungle, he has it the easiest. The hard work of others becomes his work. Their failure to survive becomes his nourishment. Keep an eye on the vulture. While you are hard at work, he is circling above. Do not fight him. Join him. And I mean, whatever you can steal from someone else or get someone else to do for you that you ain't got to do is just
I
frees
mean,
you
yeah.
up
I mean, if
to
you can't
do.
beat him, always
Yeah.
join him. You know,
Oh, definitely.
always make it be, because you know that's gonna work, be the best in the long run. Scroll back up just a little bit to the last paragraph.
Yeah.
There was something inside there. I had a thought that I lost as you were reading. Their wit can be your wit. Their skill can be your skill, and they will never come around to tell people how unoriginal you really are.
Yes, and that's one of the things that I actually embrace myself because a lot of like my great thinking and talking points are not original thoughts. They are merely adaptations of much better minds than mine. Like that's why I like doing this series particularly because I'm taking Robert Greene's wit. I mean, he could actually come around to tell people how
Couple of them
unoriginal I
hit
really
really
am.
close to home, don't they?
Because Robert Greene actually has a YouTube channel where he posts
Right.
content himself. Like, he's still alive. Like, the guy who wrote this book, he is not dead. In fact, he's not even that old. Like, this book is not
Right.
even that fucking old. But I mean, the concepts in it are amazing, and he compiled them, and I like to think about them. Pardon me for interrupting, but cheers, y'all. Happy twins.
Yes.
But no, I had it briefly cross my mind that like I could go to his comment section on his YouTube channel and invite him on this show, and I
Yeah,
could
that'd be fun. That'd be
discuss
fun.
the 48 laws of power directly with the author, which I think would just be
I mean, if
fantastic.
anything, do a couple, like the last couple of them with him.
Yeah, I mean, either that or after I'm done doing my whole series, it's like, well, I just did a discussion. Like, I'd like to discuss the book overall in general with him. That
Right.
like, because
And,
that would be the fun discussion to have with the author. Because I'm
48
basically
laws of power.
Yeah,
And at the very end, as you have the author there, you could bring in the people that you worked with for what it is.
yeah,
and,
I'm even that.
and or just saying.
That would definitely be an interesting concept. But of course, if I hit him up, like he's like, yeah, this motherfucker stole all my work, and then
GGB says I vote to it.
fair use or not, he could still probably strike me for doing this, and then I lose it all. So like, there's the risk I run with that. Maybe it's best to just fly under the radar with this because I know the author's sitting out there, and it's like I think you would respect the fact that I'm trying to interpret this and give like relevant context to it that makes it relevant, like these, because these stories are all very historical references that he's making, and I'm trying to make it make contemporary sense to my audience and to myself, and also trying to get I mean,
exactly, GGB. He would say
I
that got you to promote my book.
promote his book. I am promoting it really hardcore because I really do love it. So it's not like I'm out here trying to steal his work or convey it as my own, but I'm borrowing it. I'm cleverly borrowing it in a manner that allows me to stand on his shoulders, stand on the shoulders of the giants before me, and add my own like
Right.
addition and spin to it. So yeah, it does kind of hit like a lot of the laws do hit close to home with me. Some of them just don't. This is definitely one that I was like, at first I didn't think it was going to be one of the ones that really hit really hard with me, and then I read through it all. And it's like, oh, not only do I do this, but I contribute to like sometimes doing the work and not taking the credit, and then sometimes I get other people to do the work and I take the credit. Like this is a common one that shows up in my life with me and the people around me. There we go. Yep. Robert Greene official. If you want to check out his YouTube channel, he's got a lot of interesting videos on there. I've started watching them because he wrote several books that 48 Laws is definitely going to be my favorite and the most relevant to me, but he's got like the 52 laws of seduction, I think, or something, 46 laws. I know it's not the same number, but there's more laws.
The art of seduction.
The art of seduction, yeah, but there's like another book that he
33
has.
strategies to war.
There we go, 33 strategies to war. That's the one that's more numbers.
There's the 50th law, and I believe there's one that's the laws of human nature.
Oh yeah, the laws of human nature is one that I haven't read yet, but I am definitely.
I think that's the more recent one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Let me look this guy up quick.
I mean, but yeah, like I saw that he posted a video like not that long ago. I was like, holy shit, this dude does YouTube. Awesome. I do YouTube too.
366 daily laws. That's another one. I just looked it up real quick here.
Yep.
Get them all.
Cleverly borrowing
The concise mastery. Put together in 2014.
Yeah. So like yeah, none of this stuff is like particularly old, but he uses a lot of like you could think that this book was much older than it is just because of the nature of the historical references that he uses that are oftentimes hundreds of years old. Like you don't hear him making too many modern references, and then he brings up politicians and their speechwriters, and it's like we all know the politicians use the speechwriters, so like that's basically getting someone. I mean, they're not the only ones. A lot of people like i- if you think half the people that we hear like tweeting are actually doing their own tweeting, like these famous busy people. I know Elon must be
Other
doing all
other
his own
than Donald
tweeting.
Trump, nobody.
Elon does his own tweeting. Donald does his own tweeting. Joe Biden has somebody whose name you will
I'm sorry,
never know do his tweeting.
Axine. It's not
At
tweeting.
yeah, Twitter to doubt. See, Juju says it as well, and like at first I would have thought so too, but no, none of this is all that old. But
Yeah,
he uses a lot
the
of
laws of power. I mean,
yeah.
really,
I'm older than that book. I'm pretty sure.
1998.
Yeah, 98. Yeah, that's what. I mean, I couldn't even remember, but I remember looking. I was like, this all happened. All this guy's whole body of work happened in my lifetime. He's not even that much older than me. But man, what a brilliant compilation, and I love talking about it. So
Right. All right. Just speaking and talking about it. Where we at?
that's
It's 7:30. All right. Let's keep going.
yeah. Authority. There is much to be known. Life is short, and life is not life without knowledge. It is, therefore, an excellent device to acquire knowledge from everybody. Thus, by the sweat of another's brow, you win the reputation of being an oracle. Balthasar Gracian. Reversal. Now this is the fun part. Always at the reversal
The
because
reverse is usually
every
interesting.
yeah, I always find the reversal fascinating. There are times when taking the credit for work that others have done is not the wise course. Like, for instance, if you're running for president and you're plagiarizing speeches in your campaign of people who wrote these, like, gave these speeches recently enough for us to remember them, you know? Like, maybe then you don't do taking credit for work others have done. Maybe get someone else to write you an original speech. Like, we know you're not a good speaker. We know you can't write a speech, but you could have just got someone to not plagiarize a speech for you, and you could have passed that off as your own because, as far as anyone knows, you wrote that. If your power is not firmly enough established, you will seem to be pushing people out of the limelight. To be a brilliant exploiter of talent, your position must be unshakable, or you will be accused of deception. So basically, the reason Thomas Edison could get away with all the shit he pulled with Nikola Tesla and countless other people before that is he had established himself as the guy. Like
Right. Like
Edison,
I
he
am the
yeah,
inventor. I
he is
will
the
invent
invention.
these
Right,
things, and I
right.
will be, as well known as he is, he promote himself to
Yep.
be that, and
He
he
founded the company. His name's on all the
knew enough
buildings.
people. The other people were all going along with it. They were fine
Yep.
with it. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Go for it.
He was definitely the guy. And be sure you know when letting other people share the credit serves your purpose. It is essentially important to not be
Especially.
greedy when you have a master above you. Especially important. Yeah, that's essentially, didn't I? That does
It's
say
okay.
especially.
It's especially important to
President
not
Richard
be
Nixon.
greedy.
Yeah,
I mean, to not be greedy. Don't be
right.
greedy, because the second
Yeah,
that you get greedy about it, you're just like, yes, this is great. This is gonna be awesome. I can
Right.
be greedy as much as I want. That's when it
You,
backfires.
it's like you're working for someone else and you're trying to take all the credit, and it's like, but you wouldn't even have had the opportunity to do this thing, even if the credit is yours. Like if you're doing it on someone else's dime, you did that for them. You didn't do that independently, so that's their property that they paid you to create on their dime. They get to take the credit for it, or they'll just fire you, you know. And then yeah, you might get credit for this, but they still own it, and even if you're still fucked, you're out of a job.
Right.
Anyway, when you have a master, it's especially important when you have a master above you. So that yeah, if you're working for someone else, you definitely have to curb your greed and understand that you're under contract. President Richard Nixon's historic visit to the People's Republic of China was originally
China. Yes,
China.
China's really been a thorn in our necks for a long time, very bigly, and it's China.
Was originally his idea, but it might never have come off but for the deft diplomacy of Henry Kissinger. Nor would it have been as successful without Kissinger's skills. Still, when the time came to take credit, Kissinger adroitly let Nixon take the lion's share. Wasn't Kissinger just like coming up at that point in time? Like he ended up becoming a really big deal, right? UK guy. But like wasn't he just like rising at that time at the
Well,
time that they did this? I don't really know that much about Kissinger
Nixon,
or
yeah,
Nixon for that matter.
maybe, yeah. I think he really was. I mean, he might have actually been doing a lot more by the time of Nixon. Shit, the guy's still alive. He's like 100 years old.
Right. And Nixon isn't Nixon
S-
dead though?
right.
Yeah.
Just talked about him within the last month or
Hmm.
so. Um, that he made a trip back to China for the diplomacy that he did back then.
Hmm.
So he's it said that it wasn't the diplomacy that he did back then, but it's like, yeah, right. Sure. You're 100 years old. We're going through issues. You're going to continue to do what you're going to do. You're like, I made good friends with these people. Sure, you did.
my my bad, dude. I was reading chat. Mimsy picks a really about letting other people do the work and then taking the credit. Like that time Al Gore created the internet, and that just made me laugh. That's a good one. That's a good one. Boy,
Still
do I.
true, but
Yeah, definitely. Al Gore 100% created that internet, man, all by himself. And DARPA had nothing to do with it. Nothing.
what
Literally, it
does
was just Al Gore. His basic.
adroitly mean?
I have no fucking clue what that word means, but I know Google knows, so.
Adroitly let Nixon take the lion's share, knowing that the
That,
truth would come out later.
cleverness or skill is adroitness, so adroitly is cleverly.
Okay, clever.
Yeah. Knowing that the truth would come out later, he was careful not to jeopardize his standing in the short term by hogging the limelight. Kissinger played the game expertly. He took credit for the work of those below him while graciously giving credit for his own labors to those above. That is the way to play the game. Yeah, I mean, in that
I
situation, yeah, I
suppose.
guess. I suppose.
Don't
Like,
go after those ones that are above you and treat them like shit. They'll just take you down and make you not be anything ever. So I mean,
yeah,
yeah, you
I
kind of
mean, they're
play the
like way
game the
back
way
in
it's
the
intended.
way back in the beginning, the very first law number one, never outshine the master, and this harkens back to the very first law in the book is you never outshine the master because That is a good way to get your ass destroyed right out of the game. But yeah, Kissinger knew that it would come out, so he was like, I ain't gotta say nothing. Is that it? That's it. Holy crap,
That
it's
was it.
over. I knew this law was short, but
It was short,
Yep.
which is perfect. It's perfect
yeah,
because it gives me
last week
time
was
to finish up what I need to do to be ready for tonight. As I do have my own show going on in about an hour from now
yep
on
on
Rumble.
Rumble. I'm pretty sure the link is still pinned in the chat.
Tonight's episode says
Yep.
world record monster, UFO fleet, and Bigfoot sighting.
Oh, I saw the Bigfoot sighting thing on Twitter, but I've not heard the
It's
rest
gonna
of
be
this.
a fun night. It's gonna be a fun night. There's gonna be lots more to go through before that. Obviously, I do the news, politics, so you
Yeah.
know.
And the news and politics is getting stupider and stupider every day. And with this shit heating up over there in Israel, like, I had a really good feeling I'm going to be hearing you talk about that for a long time to come. They're coming soon.
I'm kind of surprised as we speak of Kissinger that we haven't heard anything from Kissinger yet on this
Regarding
particular
the Israeli
ordeal.
situation,
Mm-hmm.
that is strange, actually. Now that you mention it, well, I don't need this anymore, so get out of here.
Nice.
Well, that was a good one.
Yeah, I'm glad that I joined you and let you do the work of your own show.
I mean, you did plenty of the work. I took all the credit, so I didn't get you to do all the work,
you do get all of the credit.
but I did
No,
get all the credit.
no. Here's the thing. That people need to realize. Again, I'm over on Rumble. Thank you, Valerie, for coming over and subscribe or following. I'm not done with YouTube. I'm not done with YouTube. I'm going to still continue to fuck around with YouTube. It's just that they currently have me on a hiatus, saying that I can't, and then I have to wait until
on another
I have to wait
suspension.
exactly one more month for the first one to actually fall off. So
So
I'm gonna stay nice for the next month, and you probably won't see me on the YouTube side. You'd see me on the Rumble side. You see me on locals. You see me on locals now.
Yep.
The 28th of this month. This weekend I don't have anything. Next weekend.
I thought you had someone scheduled for
Nope.
the 14th.
Nope. Not the
Oh.
14th. Yeah, not the 14th because I'd planned on potentially being out of town. I'm gonna I'll be with Shenigram Yara. I'll be on her
Oh yeah,
channel
that's right. That's what you're doing
doing
on
things with
Saturday.
her. So you can always check her out. Mighty Mate will probably be around. Digger will probably be around. I'm sure. And then we get into MG Laws the 21st. Darth is the 28th.
Yes, I will be the
Darth
guest
is the
on
28th.
the Conversations with Cool Frog on the 28th.
Right. For 2 hours on locals. So you got to
We-
make sure that you take yourself to the local side of things.
We
If you
have
hadn't
not
done so.
even laid a groundwork yet for what we plan to talk about, but by the time
There's
that
no
rolls around,
groundwork. There's
yeah,
no groundwork.
by the
This
time
is
this conversation rolls
conversations
around,
with Cool Frog. There's no
Yeah.
groundwork.
right?
But I'll be back on YouTube eventually. Just give me a little bit of time. And the way the way Darth likes to say it, and the reason I always tell him no, is you didn't pick up any remnants of anything, because the good chance that if I come back on YouTube, that I would come back trying to do what I originally attempted to do, which what I called the early show, which was doing news and politics during the day.
I thought the early show was the pedal discussion show, like And the stick with
Yeah,
Bullfrog
everybody
a
was
news
invited.
apologist.
Everybody was
Oh,
invited
oh.
to talk news and politics with me. Yes, sometimes we went
Right.
off the rails. Sometimes we talked about this, that, and the other. Sometimes we talked about drama. Sometimes we had different people that we never expected to show up.
Musical
And sometimes
guest.
things snowball themselves into things that you don't necessarily expect them to snowball into.
Yeah.
And you get what you get.
I mean,
You get what you get.
That was
And
the
now we
age,
get to try pedaling back and going back to doing what it is that we like to do the most. So, pay attention. Don't forget to subscribe to that YouTube channel. It's not that I'm
Yep.
going to go away. It's just that Shtick with Bullfrog, the late night show, will never be back on YouTube.
The news and politics show is a new Rumble exclusive.
And I'll still talk some news and politics, but there's certain things I just won't talk about.
Well, that's the problem with YouTube, isn't it? It's like you could talk about something today that seems perfectly innocuous today, and then in 6 months they can be like, yeah, well, you can't say that because you're promoting MAGA extremism, and then they could strike you for saying that you support President Trump. Like,
No, and that's how I picked up
Right.
my last one. Was I was
Yep.
trying to be cool about it, and I was staying off like I was intended to,
Yep.
and I was trying to wait out the first one,
and then you
and
just, bam,
I got down to like the
one.
last few days, and then I was and picked up the third one. Boom, gone,
Yep.
yeeted. So
Good
you
game.
just never know. But I mean, I know what I'm doing. I'll be there. I'll still always be there. Don't forget to subscribe to that channel. If you haven't subscribed to Darth Hideous in this channel, why you're here?
I don't know how you got here if you're not subscribed to Darth Hideous on Darth Hideous' channel, but if you did happen to find your way here and you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that
I'm
subscribe
sure you'll
button.
find Darth in about an hour or so, roughly,
Hanging out
over
in
in
Frog's
Rumble,
chat.
hanging out in chat. So
Yep. Probably making
come
a
say
scene.
hi if that's what you wish to do. Y'all hit that like button.
Yeah, smash the like
Has
button
anybody
for
hit that
the
like button?
48 Laws discussion stream. I don't know. What do we got?
There's
11.
11 of them. 8 watching. Clearly, not
Yeah.
all of you hit that like button. Hit that like button.
I don't think I did.
I'm gonna sneak out of here while I can and
Alrighty, my
talk
dude.
to my wife before I go live. And
All right, well, I'll catch you in a little
Couple
bit at your
others.
show.
peace.
Later.
Later.
Should I just nuke this? It's over. Bye, chat. It's good to see you guys. Later. I was gonna